8. 接続詞
provided that.
もし何々ならば
Jim's uncle will give him financial support to go to university, provided that he promises to study hard. Every time, each time,
何々するたびに
we are able to discover something new every time we visit a museum. The moment, the minute,
何々するとすぐに
the beautiful scenery came into view the moment we turned the corner. When it comes to,
のこととなるとをする段になると
when it comes to job satisfaction, most people say their salary doesn't necessarily take top priority. As it is,
1. 実際のところは
outwardly, Sam looked happy, but as it was, he was deeply concerned about his mother's condition.
2. 事物があるがままの事物があるがままに
The police told the family to leave the room as it was for the investigation. As far as, be concerned. So far as, be concerned.
に関する限り
As far as I am concerned, 2 cups of coffee a day are more than enough. As follows.
次の通り
The ingredients for this recipe are as follows. Water, lemon juice, and sugar. As is often the case. As is often the case with.
よくあることだがに関してよくあることだが
As is often the case with Davis, he overslept by half an hour and was late for class today. As go.
一般の何々と比べると何々としては
As company bosses go, I think Mr. Yoshida is much younger than most. If only.
1. 何々でありさえすれば
Lily said that she would prefer a larger home if only her family could afford it.
2. 何々でさえあればな
If only I could make them understand my viewpoint. If it were not for,
もし何々がなければ
if it were not for music, our lives would be dull and boring.
9. その他の文法
The way, in the way.
何々から判断すると何々のように何々のやり方で
Dogs are remarkably similar to human infants in the way they pay attention to us adults. To death.
死ぬまでひどく
He donated some money in hopes of reducing the number of people who starve to death. With ease.
容易に
Now that he has lived in Paris for 6 months, Kay speaks French with greater ease. Believe it or not.
まさかと思うような話だが
Believe it or not, obesity also occurs even among those living in poverty. Section 3.
構文 1. 1. 典型的構文
Not all that.
それほど何々ではない
The movie was boring, and some of us were not all that interested in following the story. The,
プラス比較級
the.
プラス比較級何々であればあるほど一層何々
Generally speaking, the longer you practice, the better you'll get at anything. As, so. Just as, so.
ちょうど何々であるように何々だ
Just as some people are born artists, so some are born athletes. No wonder. It is no wonder that.
何々なのは当然だ
You watched a movie until 4? No wonder you look so tired and sleepy. It happens that.
たまたま何々だ。折よく、運悪く何々だ。
Yesterday, it happened that an old friend of mine and I were riding in the same train car. Chances are. The chances are that.
ひょっとしたら、多分、何々だろう。
If he's from that city, chances are he may know about the temple which appears in that story. There is no doing.
何々することはできない。
There is no denying that e-books have become an important part of people's reading habits. Not so much A as B.
A というより B。
He is not so much a scholar as a journalist. Hardly when. Hardly before.
何々するかしないうちに何々。
Hardly had we reached the cottage when it began to rain. Never do without.
何々すれば必ず何々する。
I never see you without thinking of my mother. It goes without saying that.
何々なのは言うまでもない。
It goes without saying that nothing is more important than our health. True, but. It is true, but.
確かに何々だが何々だ。
It is true his grandmother is in her mid-90s, but she is still going very strong. It is not long before.
何々するのに長くはかからない。間もなく何々する。
At the time, we all hoped it wouldn't be long before the epidemic came to an end. It is time. It is high time that.
とっくに何々してよい頃だ。
It is high time that I bought a pair of new shoes. No sooner than.
何々するや否や何々する。
No sooner had I come home than my mother gave me a call. It is no use doing.
何々しても無駄である。
It is no use regretting what you didn't do. It is not until that.
何々になって初めて何々する。
It was not until mid-April that the snow disappeared completely from the ground. A is to B what C is to D.
A の B に対する関係は C の D に対する関係に等しい。
Friendship is to people what sunshine is to flowers. Not so much as do.
何々さえしない。
John left us in such a great hurry that he didn't so much as say goodbye to us. Nothing is more A than B.
B ほど A なものはない。
My grandfather often said that nothing is more precious than peace. The former, the latter.
前者は何々、後者は何々。
The group made 2 proposals in 2 years. The former was on air pollution, the latter on global warming. A is one thing, B is another.
A と B とは別のものである。
To know is one thing, and to teach is another. All one has to do is do. All one has to do is to do.
人は、ただ何々すればよい。
To operate this machine, all you have to do is press this button. Suffice to say that. Suffice it to say that.
何々と言えば十分である。
Suffice it to say that she didn't do her duty as she was supposed to have done. Section 4.
構文2。2. B 動詞、動詞、助動詞を用いた構文。
Be to do.
1. 何々することになっている。
The invention made by Samuel Morse in the 1830s was to be called the telegraph later.
2. 何々すべきである。
In a democratic society, all the citizens are to respect the rights of other people.
3. 何々するつもりである。何々できる。
If this research is to be trustworthy, there should be at least 200 participants. Be forced to do.
やむなく何々する。
Facing strong opposition from the public, the government was forced to rethink the bill. Be supposed to do.
何々することになっている。世間で何々と考えられている。
I'm supposed to submit my application before the end of the week. Be to blame. Be to blame for.
責めを負うべきである。責任がある。に対して責めを負うべきである。責任がある。
It is humans' activities that are to blame for this climate change we're seeing. Be entitled to.
の資格がある。
Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but to respect others' opinions is also essential. Tend to do.
何々する傾向がある。何々しがちである。
People who do not sleep sufficiently tend to have a bigger appetite and eat more. Happen to do.
偶然何々する。
It was just pure luck that we happened to be there and witness the historic incident. Manage to do.
なんとか何々する。やり遂げる。
After a few hours of hard work, the boy finally managed to solve the math problem. Can afford to do.
経済的、時間的に何々する余裕がある。
No society can afford to ignore air pollution or climate change. Bother to do.
わざわざ何々する。
Busy with her work, the lady at the desk didn't even bother to look up. Come to an end. Come to a close.
終わる。
It seems the long hot summer we've had this year is finally coming to an end. Go so far as to do.
何々しさえする。
Some colleges have gone so far as to make studying abroad mandatory for graduation. Have no choice but to do. Have no other choice but to do.
何々するより他に仕方がない。
Due to an approaching typhoon, we had no choice but to postpone our day at the beach. Spend doing. Spend in doing.
何々して時間、期間を過ごす。
Tim proposed that we spend time watching the game on TV together. Make a point of doing.
必ず何々するよう努力する。何々することを重視する。
She makes a point of doing light exercise before she goes to bed. Remain to be seen.
結果などは未定である。
It remains to be seen whether our efforts to stop climate change are really sufficient. Bring oneself to do.
何々する気持ちになる。
I can't bring myself to throw away a perfectly good glove, although I'll never find the other one. Take the trouble to do.
わざわざ、労を惜しまず何々する。
A young gentleman kindly took the trouble to take us to the nearest railroad station. Leave nothing to be desired.
申し分ない。
His performance left nothing to be desired.
3. 文の接続に関わる構文。
In order to do. So as to do.
何々するために。
In order to reduce pollution, everyone should use public transportation as much as possible. In that.
何々の点で。何々のゆえに。
Water polo resembles handball and soccer, but is different in that it is played in a pool. As long as, so long as.
何々である限り。
I don't mind what time you come to the office, as long as it is before 11 a.m. See that. See to it that.
何々するように取り計らう。気をつける。
Since this is very complicated, I myself will see to it that there is no mistake. So that, can do.
何々が何々できるように。
The students asked their teacher to speak more slowly so that they could understand her. By the time.
何々までに。何々までには。
By the time we arrived at the party, there was nothing left to eat or drink. So that.
何々だ。その結果、何々だ。
Her students have always practiced writing English, so that now they are all good English writers. Now that.
何々である以上、今はもう何々なので。
Now that the decision has been made, we will be obliged to accept it. In case.
1. もし何々ならば。
In case you have any questions, contact me anytime.
2. 何々するといけないから。何々に備えて。
Father told us to take a map with us in case we got lost. Given that.
何々を考慮すれば。何々なので。
Given that he is richly experienced, we think he's suitable for the new post. Even as.
まさに何々するときに。
Even as I write this, thinking of her, I can still feel her soft warm hand in mine. If any.
もしあるとしても。もしあれば。
I'm sure few, if any, team members doubted the truthfulness of the captain's explanation. On condition. On the condition that.
何々という条件で。何々ならば。
He was allowed to participate in the meeting on the condition that he remain silent. Lest do. Lest should do.
何々が何々しないように。何々が何々するといけないから。
The couple talked in low voices, lest the people around them overhear. What with A and B?
A やら B やらで。
What with overwork and exhaustion, nearly half the members fell ill. And, at that.
何々だ。その上何々でもある。
His sister is a professional translator, and an excellent one at that. Inasmuch as.
何々だから。
Giving people gifts is a pleasure for me, inasmuch as it also makes me happy to see people smile. Section 5.
会話表現1。1. 慣れておきたい口語表現。
Just about.
ほぼ、かろうじて。
Today we can buy just about any sort of food from anywhere on the globe in any season. Go ahead.
先に行く。ためらわず、進む。
The manager told us to go ahead and make a reservation at the restaurant. Check out.
1. 魅力的なので、何々を見てみる。を、調査、点検する。
When you visit London, be sure to check out the Tower of London and Big Ben.
2. 図書館などから何々を借り出す。
Sarah is thinking of going to the library to check out a few books. Hold on.
1. 持ちこたえる。頑張る。
With the epidemic raging at the time, many small businesses were barely holding on.
2. 待つ。電話を切らずにいる。
I'm going to take another picture, so just hold on a while longer.
3. しっかりつかむ。
At the top of the ladder, I felt scared because there was nothing to hold on to. Hang up.
電話を切る。衣服などをかける。を中断する。
No sooner had I hung up the phone than there came another call. Give a try.
を試してみる。
My sister had taught me how to cook the dish, so I gave it a try for myself this morning. Give a hand.
に手を貸す。
I want to move this to the corner. Will you give me a hand, please? Call back.
折り返し電話する。に折り返し電話する。電話をかけ直す。に電話をかけ直す。を呼び戻す。
When I called her, Saki said, I'll call back in an hour or so. From scratch.
最初から。
With the beach closed for the season, we're planning our summer schedule from scratch. See, off.
人を見送る。
We have just been to the airport to see my daughter off to Chicago. Hold one's breath.
息を止める。期待して息を潜めて待つ。
Kosuke can hold his breath much longer than any other boy. At the wheel. Behind the wheel.
車、船などを運転して。
Ken was beginning to feel tired after having been behind the wheel for almost 2 hours. Having said that,
そうは言ったものの。
He's a bit behind the times. Having said that, I know he's always reading newspapers. On the dot.
時間ちょうどに。きっかりに。
She'd promised me that she'd visit me around 2, and she really did so at 2 on the dot. Ask a favor.
人にお願いをする。頼む。
Could I ask you a favor? Please post this letter for me. Drive at.
のつもりである。
What in the world are you driving at? I can't at all understand what you're saying. Lose face. Lose one's face.
面目を失う。
He thought he lost face by asking a silly question in public. Before one knows it,
あっという間に。
I slipped on the road, and before I knew it, I found myself lying face down on the ground. Stick around. Stick about.
帰らずに、そこらで待つ。
Adam and I really wanted to see what was in that bedroom, so we stuck around. Call it a day.
その日の仕事を終える。
It's a little past 5, so let's call it a day. Have good command of. Have a good command of.
外国語などを自由に使いこなす力がある。
There is no doubt that anyone who has a good command of English has a bright future. Keep one's fingers crossed.
幸運、成功を祈る。
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that next Saturday is a perfect day for a picnic. Pay a visit. Pay a visit to.
訪問する。を訪問する。
In 2016, the U.S. president paid a visit to Hiroshima for the first time in history. Serve right.
にとって当然の報いである。
He had an accident? He'd been speeding all the time, so it serves him right. Go to the polls.
投票に行く。
The Japanese go to the polls to vote for the members of the upper house every 3 years.